Caleb Stroud had always believed that fear was just profit waiting to be claimed by someone with enough guts. That philosophy had served him well on Earth, and he saw no reason it wouldn't work on the frontier worlds. So when the Quillian Real Estate Consortium offered him 20,000 acres of prime grazing land for a fraction of the going rate, he didn't ask too many questions. He should have. The other ranchers at the spaceport bar had gone quiet when he mentioned his purchase. A Dravon trader with 4 eyes and scales like obsidian had actually backed away from him. "You bought the Whisper Plains?" The alien had hissed. "Human, you've made a terrible mistake." Caleb had just laughed and ordered another drink. The land was perfect. Rolling hills of purple-tinged grass that his earth cattle adapted to immediately. 3 crystal-clear streams, and soil so rich it practically glowed in the light of the binary suns. For 3 weeks, Caleb worked dawn to dusk, setting up his homestead, stringing fence lines, and getting his herd settled. He'd never been happier. Then the dreams started. At first, they were just fragments, whispers in a language that seemed to bypass his ears and speak directly to his mind. Images of towering structures that defied geometry, of beings made of light and shadow dancing between dimensions. He'd wake up with his head pounding and a strange symbol burned into his vision that faded only after several minutes. Caleb ignored it. He'd dealt with worse than bad dreams. On the 28th night, he woke to find his cabin filled with a soft, ethereal glow. Standing at the foot of his bed was a figure that made his brain hurt to perceive. Simultaneously there and not there, solid and translucent, ancient and ageless. "You do not run," the figure said, and Caleb realized with a start that it was speaking directly into his mind. "Curious." "I paid good money for this land," Caleb replied, surprised at how steady his voice sounded. "I don't run from my investments." The figure seemed to solidify slightly, coalescing into something almost comprehensible. A tall, slender being with features that shifted between familiar and alien with each passing second. "I am Vailra," it said. "I have guarded this place for 7,000 of your years. All who came before you fled. The Quillians after 1 night. The Zephrani lasted 3 days. Even the Korthax, who fear nothing, abandoned this place within a week." "Well, I'm human," Caleb said, sitting up and reaching for his boots. If he was going to have a conversation with a ghost, he'd do it properly dressed. "We're a stubborn species." "Stubborn," Vailra repeated as if tasting the word. "Or foolish?" "Often both." Caleb stood and walked to his kitchen, putting on a pot of coffee. "Want some?" "No idea if ghosts drink coffee, but I'm having some regardless." For the first time in millennia, Vailra experienced something close to surprise. This human was either incredibly brave or completely insane. Perhaps both. "I am not a ghost. I am a guardian, bound by ancient oath to protect what lies beneath." Caleb poured himself a cup and sat at his table. "All right, I'll bite." "What's beneath?" Vailra moved closer, and Caleb noticed that the air around the being shimmered like heat waves. A seed, not of life, but of reality itself. "When my people, the Veil, realized our civilization was ending, we planted seeds across the galaxy. Seeds that, when properly tended, could birth new realities, new universes. We bound guardians to each one." "And you got stuck with this one," Caleb said. "For 7,000 years I have kept the curious away, filled their minds with fear and dread until they fled. I have maintained the barrier that keeps dimensional scavengers from detecting the seed." Vailra's form flickered. "But I am tired, human. So very tired." Caleb sipped his coffee, thinking. What happens if you stop guarding it? The seed activates prematurely. Tears open a rift, and this entire sector of space collapses into a singularity of infinite potential and zero structure. All life within 10 light-years ceases to exist. That would be bad for my cattle. Vailra made a sound that might have been a laugh. Your species truly is remarkable. You face the end of everything with concern for livestock. I'm a rancher, Caleb said simply. It's what I do. He set down his cup. So here's my offer. You need a break after 7,000 years, I get that. How about we share the duty? You teach me what I need to know and I'll help you guard this thing. Humans are pretty good at protecting what's ours, and I just bought this land fair and square. That makes it mine to protect. Vailra stared at him for a long moment. You would bind yourself to this place? Become its guardian? I was planning to anyway. I like it here. Caleb smiled. Besides, my grandpa always said the best investments are the ones everyone else is too scared to make. The bond is eternal. You will be tied to this land until another comes to relieve you. Then I guess I better make it comfortable. Caleb stood and extended his hand. Partners? Vailra looked at the offered hand, such a human gesture, a physical bridge between beings. Slowly, the ancient guardian reached out. When their hands met, Caleb felt a surge of knowledge flood through him. The weight of millennia, the songs of dead civilizations, and the pulse of reality itself thrumming beneath his feet. When he opened his eyes again, he could see the threads of existence woven through everything, and deep below, the seed of a universe waiting to be born. Partners, Vailra agreed, and for the first time in 7,000 years, the Guardian was not alone. Word spread quickly through the frontier worlds. The human had not fled the Whisper Plains. Visitors occasionally came, drawn by curiosity or bravery, but they always found the same thing: a stubborn rancher tending his cattle, and beside him, a shimmering figure that no longer had to stand guard alone. And if sometimes the grass glowed a little brighter, or reality seemed to bend gently around the homestead, well, the other ranchers learned not to ask too many questions. After all, Caleb Stroud had been right about one thing. Fear was just profit waiting to be claimed by someone with enough guts. And humanity had never been short on guts.